Angels have no credit if they obey God, since they are created this way. And Satan and his fallen angels, well, when did they gain free will? After they fell or before they fell, if they have any free will at all? If you multiply 2 by 2 using a calculator and you get the correct answer of 4, do you think it's a smart calculator? Of course not. You know it's programmed to give correct answers, right? On the other hand, God created us and gave us brain, breathing His Spirit in us and gave us free will. Even though it's Allah who leads on and off the right path as they pleases. Therefore, if you choose to obey Him, He will be credited and rewarded, and you will be credited and rewarded because we chose to. What about, quote, wheeling on and off the right path as Allah pleases? What about that? If we chose to disobey Him, then He might punish us or forgive us. It's up to Him, and it also depends on the gravity of the sin. And the worst sin is believing what angels say, that Allah has a son, Yet strange that the Quran says, I have no ground to stand upon unless I stand firm upon the Injil, and that you have to come to me if you are in doubt about the Quran for my reading the Injil, being that the Quran says, quote, before scriptures. Isn't that a head scratcher? But they are, quote, clear signs handed down from you to your Lord, from your Lord to you, true? It's simply unfair, unjust, and illogical the concept of the first sin, that of Adam and Eve. If there is eternal punishment, I tend to agree. Why we should carry out a sin someone else did, that is wrong. This is illogical. This is wrong, illogical. Yeah, why should the blood of an innocent animal be shed for sin in the Old Testament? Makes no sense, Unless it's pointing to the Lamb of God, Jesus Christ. In Islam, it's clearly stated that no one will carry the sin of another. Oh, I'm sure it says that. No one inherits the sin of another, right? Yes, Islam is the truth, and whether you like it or not, it is. Eternal hellfire awaits you if you say otherwise, Islam was the religion of Adam, Noah, Abraham, John the Baptist, Joseph, Mary the Virgin, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Zachariah, etc. Peace be upon them all. That's what Islam certainly says all the time. They all worship the same one. They all worship the one and only God who created the heaven and the earth, and whatever between them, and created everything else. He doesn't need to be man or live amongst us. Yep, that's what Islam says, alright. He sent His prophets and messengers to the people to renew the faith of those people, to guide them to the truth path. Too bad. But by presenting a book that tells you, if you are in doubt about the Quran, to come to me for my reading the book that contradicts the Quran on many levels. This has been the case that all prophets throughout history, and this was the case with Jesus, Papa. Praise be unto Him. Jesus was born miraculously from only a woman, and this is easy for God to do since He created Adam from nothing. No father, no mother. Just be and he was, and for God this is easy. Yep, that's what Islam says. I don't need to be a Christian to understand. It's clear to me what the truth is, and I ask God to guide us all and to keep us guided. You do realize that if Allah is guiding me off the right path, Allah won't listen to your wishes because none can guide on what Allah has guided off. Islam, as you are witnessing, is prevailing and increasing despite all efforts of everyone to shut its lights off. True. This has been said in Quran, in the chapter light. Read that chapter and see how beautiful it is. God's light will always be on, no matter what they do, and despite all attempts to shut it off. It's sad that you have been indoctrinated by your church, and that your church raised you hating Islam, or seeing Islam as an evil religion. Quote, my church, end quote, never did that. If I have reservations about Islam, it's due to reading scriptures in the Quran that and seeing the fruits of its followers demonstrated over and over and over again in Iraq, Shiite marketplaces, and other places. Not, quote, my church at all, unquote. Yeah, not my church, unquote, at all. Of course you can find lots of materials and depicts Islam and many false accusations and informations. Who are setting off car bombs, killing thousands in Iraq and other places. Sahih Bukhari or Muslim are the most authentic hadith works compiled. Even though they have Muhammad saying that if you eat 7 ajwa dates in the morning, you'll be protected all day from both magic and poison. Sahih means correct or authentic. The book's Sahih Bukhari, unquote, is just a title and publishers give to those compilations. Bukhari himself categorized the hadith he collected by Sahih, authentic, Hasan, good, Da'if, weak or non-authentic. Bukhari and Muslim have the highest percentage of authentic hadiths in their works. This doesn't mean that all their collection of their hadiths are authentic. This only means that most of the hadiths are both authentic and good, and very few are weak. How can you then know if anything in them are true? The fact of the age of Aisha was not much of interest of any of the hadith collectors, nor any of the companions of the Prophet's Papa, because it was accepted that it was okay to be a pedophile back then. This is because of two things. If she was 9, engaged at 6, and married at 9, after reaching puberty, if this was the case, it was normal for them. It was a normal thing then, since in that time and culture, this was the norm, and nothing particular about it, even to say it. What if she had reached puberty? You do realize that the Quran says you can have sex with a girl who, quote, hasn't had her first period yet? That's Quran 65, verse 4. That kind of pushes it under, don't you think? The other option is that Aisha was 13, 17, or 19, and this again was also normal and not worthy of mentioning. Quran Surah 65, verse 4. I don't know about what you said happened recently in Palestine, and I don't believe it. Google it. Type in child brides of Gaza. You're definitely exaggerating. Again, Google, quote, child brides of Gaza, unquote. I don't think anyone married girl of 6 years old. Show me proof. A link of something. They seem to be younger than 6. Check it out. There might be some rare culture cases that people still marry at the age 14, 15, and 16, but or under 18 anyway. And this is not against the religion and probably not against the culture of those countries. Oh, like, quote, honor killing, unquote, and female genital mutilation? True? I am sure in America there was no law 200 years ago that prohibited someone to marry a 13-year-old girl. Anyway, if there was, then that's okay. After all, America did not even exist 1400 years ago. No problem marrying 6-year-olds. True? You have no problems marrying 6-year-olds. True? Anyway, if something is wrong for the culture here in the U.S., doesn't mean it's wrong in general. No problem marrying girls who have no say in the matter, right? The world doesn't consist of the U.S. only. The world is much bigger than this. I bet you voted for Obama. Even though I agree with you that in our days and time, marrying even at age 20 is considered too early, yet rarely acceptable. I think it's wrong to marry below age 17 and 18, even though most girls in our society already have sex at much younger age. Let's not be hypocritical and admit that many teenagers have sex at 12, 13, and 14. And there are cases where girls at that age are pregnant and many have abortion. Look, I know this goes on, but you have Muhammad okaying it. How can it not be when he marries a 6-year-old? So, instead of attacking the culture and a man that lived 1400 in a different place, different time, different culture, where certain practices were normal, let's see ourselves. What do you mean? Forget about your grandfather. I'm sure that your Finnish grandfather married a very young age. Mashallah indeed. Hey, my great-great-great-grandfather wasn't... Hey, my great-great-grandfather wasn't Muhammad telling us what we can and can't do. Peace.